Well guys, there's only one question left. Who's gonna win Super Bowl 59? And I know a lot of people are pissed about this matchup, a rematch between the Chiefs and the Eagles. A lot of people think that it's gonna be
the ass.
But I don't know. I'm optimistic and hopefully the refs aren't involved. If the refs are involved heavily, I think it'll definitely be. But hopefully it's a fair game. Battle of the trenches. The Eagles have had the #1 ranked defense really throughout the entire season. Chiefs have had a top defense too, and the running game obviously with Saquon Barkley has been explosive and electric. So it should be a game that I hope is really good. I know a lot of people aren't excited for it. People are saying that they're not gonna watch it. Come on now, relax. You're gonna watch the Super Bowl. But we'll see if history is gonna be made as a three-peat with the Chiefs being the first team in NFL history to accomplish winning 3 Super Bowls in a row. No major sports team has done it, I believe, since the Los Angeles Lakers winning the NBA championships in 2000, 2001, and 2002. So the Chiefs, if they win this Super Bowl 59 against the Eagles, they might have a case for the greatest dynasty of all time, but also I think it's safe to say, and a lot of people are gonna refute this maybe, but a lot of people will acknowledge the reality that at 29 years old, Patrick Mahomes really is entering the GOAT conversation. So that'll be an angle that we look at throughout the video. But also, man, it's a tough thing talking about that game between the Chiefs and the Bills. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. It just seemed like this was their chance for sure to get it, but you also had that inevitable creeping feeling that the Chiefs were somehow gonna figure it out, whether it was that 4th and 1 call that I believe was a first down. We'll talk about that later, but bro, that was a first down. But anyways, from the 4th down, where he was getting all out blitzed by Steve Spagnuolo in that dominant defense, he still was able to get the ball near Dalton Kincaid, but he dropped it, and that was a tough break for the Bills. But man, it's just been so close, but so far for them to get over the hump, and it's gonna be a question mark about these quarterbacks in the AFC. Are they gonna just continue to keep losing because we are in the Mahomes era, kind of like in NBA, how in the 90s it was the Jordan era? We will see about that. But in the Eagles perspective though, they had a dominant win over the Washington Commanders. 7 total rushing touchdowns, that's insane. Saquon Barkley, a 60-yard rushing touchdown, first play of the game for them on offense. It's just a testament to the success that this team has had overall. In the trenches, offensively and defensively, we know that they have Jalen Carter dominating, Jordan Davis, Quinyon Mitchell, Zach Bond, Cooper DeJean. There's just so many weapons for them offensively and defensively that logically you would probably pick the Eagles to win this game, but going against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, I don't know, man. It's hard to bet against 15, and that's what we're gonna talk about throughout this video, with of course recapping the games from championship weekend, talking about the Commanders and the Eagles as well. And shout out to the Commanders, shout out to Jaden Daniels for having the definitively best rookie season of all time by a rookie quarterback. A lot of people had it believing that he might have been the first rookie to start in the Super Bowl, but reality set in and the Eagles really dominated the game. So there's a lot to talk about, guys. I can't wait to get into it in every single angle, and it's gonna be an interesting game for sure. I know a lot of people aren't excited about it except if you're Eagles and Chiefs fans, but I think it's gonna be a really good game. With that being said though, guys, before we break down the NFC Championship, the AFC Championship, and predict who I think is gonna win the Super Bowl, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe and turn on post notifications. You know we post about here videos about the NBA, NFL, Marvel, DC, pop culture, all types of videos and things of that nature, shorts and reels. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SwaggyRuss, and also on TikTok at SwaggyRuss02. With that being said, let's talk about who's gonna win the Super Bowl.
So if you watch this game in the first half, you know that it was competitive for the most part, but the Eagles were starting to break away in ways before the second half took off, and then they were just able to dominate. And a lot of people want to talk about the turnover margin on the Commanders' perspective, but why not give credit to the Eagles defense that's really just, like I said in the intro, been dominant throughout the season. Those 3 fumbles, really, they forced them away. Zach Bond punched that ball, and they were able to create another turnover on defense and on special teams. It's just really a testament to how the culture has changed and shifted in terms of their defense, with Vic Fangio taking up the helm as defensive coordinator, and the personnel that they've added. Zach Bond, no one would have thought that he's had the impact on his team that he has had throughout this season. He's a defensive player of the year candidate, and they really made the Commanders offense look pedestrian. They made Jaden Daniels for the most part look like a rookie. Definitely wanted to highlight that about their defense, but offensively, we know what time it was. Saquon Barkley, first play of the game, 60 yards for a rushing touchdown. That was just crazy. And then just for the rest of the game, they continued to emphasize that running game, and also AJ Brown, he had a receiving touchdown too, so I know he was happy about that. He had 6 receptions for 96 receiving yards and a touchdown. But like I said, not gonna say it's just necessarily been one player has been the biggest reason why a franchise has taken off so much, but Saquon Barkley, man, his impact has been really the greatest that we've seen a running back have on a team, I would say, in recent memory, and just in general. He's been one of the best free agent signings of all time. What he has done for this team, having a 2,000 rushing yard season, really dominating teams, and in this game had 15 carries for 118 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. It's just been a sensational season for him to watch, and we know that he's dealt with injuries while he was in New York. To see him play with such a talented team and with a great offensive line, it's really been a great thing to see, and there'll be one more game here to see if they can beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. But I definitely think that this team is better than what they were 2 years ago, and that's saying a lot because that team in the 2022-23 season in Super Bowl 57 was really good. But I think that Jalen Hurts is going to be able to make plays. I don't like the disrespect that people gave, making it seem like he can't throw the ball. I know that he dealt with a concussion obviously in week 16 and missed a few games, and he had that little scary injury on the knee in the Rams game, but he was able to put up a good performance in this game. He was super efficient, completed 20 out of his 28 passing attempts for 246 passing yards yards in that touchdown to AJ Brown, and he had 3 rushing touchdowns. I think that Jalen Hurts, he's still a top 10 level quarterback, man, and he proved that in this game. So I just think the Eagles, I will continue to say it, I think that they overall have a better team than Kansas City, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to win the game. But they looked really dominant in this one. They won by a 30 ball. I mean, it was a crazy game, man. For the Commanders, man, there's no shame on this season. Jaden Daniels, he had a spectacular season. No one saw this coming from the Commanders. Had a 12-5 regular season after being 4-13 the previous year in the 23-24 season. Their future is bright for sure in this NFC East and the NFC in general. And I think that you can make the conversation that he wears the number 5, but he might be the number 5 quarterback in the league right now. Obviously, the top 4 in Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, and Lamar. In no particular order that I said that, but obviously Mahomes being number 1. But I think Jaden Daniels, he has a conversation to already be a top 5 quarterback. I know a lot of people had that conversation about CJ Stroud last year, but in this situation, I think it's well warranted. So we'll see about the Commanders, but their future is bright. But the Eagles, the reality for them is bright as well, as they have an opportunity to get their second championship in franchise history and their second Super Bowl appearance in the past 3 seasons.
The Chiefs is still the Chiefs.
The Chiefs is still the Chiefs, Pat McAfee says, and they won this game against the Buffalo Bills at home in the AFC Championship, winning 32-29. It's crazy, bro. I just don't know. The Bills, man, they had a great chance to win this game. I think one thing that I didn't like, at times they strayed away from the running game at times, because the Chiefs, they weren't stopping that running game. James Cook, he had a really good performance, had 13 carries for 85 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. And Josh Allen didn't have the most rushing yards, but he had 39 rushing yards too, so they were able to diversify it a little bit. But the Chiefs, man, offensively, you know what it entails with Patrick Mahomes. I know that this season hasn't been the most dominant for them in terms of how things have looked, being flashy or things of that nature, but they find ways to win. Situational football, they find ways to win always. Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, both of those really being Hall of Fame coaches on the same coaching staff, one being defensive coordinator and obviously Reid being the head coach. They just find ways to win, man. And I will say Mahomes, he didn't have the most impressive performance, completing 18 out of 26 passing attempts for 245 passing yards and a touchdown, but he did what needed to be done. And that one last pass to Samaje Perine after the Bills were unable to convert from that Kincaid drop, really in a microcosm just showed what the Chiefs do. They find ways to win. Kareem Hunt had a good night, had 17 carries for 64 rushing yards and a touchdown. Patrick Mahomes also had 2 rushing touchdowns. He was able to really make things frustrating for the Bills. There wasn't really too much spy action. I know Matt Milano was able to get in there a little bit as a spy, but Mahomes was able to break free for a few runs that really just shot the Bills in the foot in terms of getting stops, and that's what happened. But Xavier Worthy, the rookie, he had a good game, had 6 receptions for 85 receiving yards and a touchdown. Juju Smith-Schuster had a couple of receptions, having 2 receptions for 60 receiving yards that helped put the Chiefs in position to win. And Travis Kelce, he didn't really have a good game, and it's not really worth saying his stats, but regardless of that, man, they just find ways to win. It's sometimes unexplainable. I know the ref conversation, which is real, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna acknowledge that for sure, bro. That 4th and 1, bro, that was a first down. I just don't see how it wasn't a first down. I know I have some people that said that they think he was short, bro. He clearly got over, his body got over with the ball along it. Like, I just don't understand it. So that's a conversation there. But even with that, I'm not gonna lie, the Bills would have converted, say they got a touchdown or a field goal, you still in your ways, you could kind of convince yourself that the Chiefs and Mahomes would find a way to win. Like, if you're going to beat the Chiefs, I feel like if it ever happens in the near future in one of these next playoffs, I think a team is going to have to like dominate them for sure. And I know it was a little different obviously when the Bengals beat them a few years ago in the 21-22 season in the playoffs in the AFC Championship, but I just think someone has to really just like take it to the Chiefs to absolutely beat them, because if it's a close margin, you're going to always favor the Chiefs to find a way. So that's what it is, man. This game against the Eagles is going to be certainly entertaining. Like I said, the Chiefs, they don't have the better roster in my opinion. I think most people would agree, to be honest, if you know football. The Eagles, like I said, they have so many weapons, not only on offense, but defensively as well too. But the Chiefs defense really does make plays when they need to too, and they have a lot of good weapons as well. So definitely want to give them their credit and no disrespect, but roster standpoint, you would pick the Eagles, but logically and making sense of it, probably picking the Chiefs just because you know that Patrick Mahomes just doesn't lose in these situations. So we're going to see. There's been only 3 teams to beat Mahomes in the playoffs. He already has the second most playoff wins in NFL history, passing Joe Montana only under Tom Brady, who has 35. And it's crazy though, Josh Allen, he has 7 playoff wins, the most by a quarterback that hasn't made the Super Bowl. And it's not like Josh Allen played bad at all in this game. Trust me, it's not his fault. Every time the Chiefs and Bills play these past 4 times in the playoffs, he always plays well. He completed 22 out of his 34 passing attempts for 237 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. Made some great plays to Mac Hollins, who caught that first touchdown and huge catch to put them in scoring position as well too. So they just somehow got to get over the hump. I don't know how, but it's certainly frustrating if you're a fan of Bills Mafia, who has endured 4 straight Super Bowl losses in the 1990s and now 4 losses to the Chiefs in the 2020s. So, man, that's definitely a bad break. It just sucks for them in Buffalo. It sucks for really all these other teams in the AFC because, like I said earlier, it's like a Jordan era in many ways. So, we'll see if the Chiefs are able to complete this three-peat and get their 4th championship total in the Mahomes-Reed era against the Eagles. But, yeah, they won this game, man. I feel for Josh Allen because, in my opinion, like him and Lamar Jackson, obviously Dak, because, I mean, I'm a Cowboys fan. They're my favorite quarterbacks, those three. But you got to find a way to beat the Chiefs. I mean, it really is that simple. It's that simple, but it's not that easy. So, that's the reality of it. But let's talk about who I'm going to predict to win the Super Bowl.
So, guys, this is tough, man. And I kind of hinted at it in the beginning, but we're going to go on and predict who I think is going to win Super Bowl. I'll give you a score, I guess. I haven't really done that too much, but I might as well. But before I just say who I think is going to win and predict the score, I want to elaborate on why. So, just the case for the Eagles, first and foremost, they have the better team. Let's be honest. I'm not going to lie to you. Obviously, they don't have the better quarterback, but they have the better running back. They have the better receivers. They have the better defense, personnel-wise. They have the better offensive line. I wouldn't say they have the better coach, but for most phases of the game, they have the better team. So, that's the thing about the Eagles, in my opinion. And even last year, you can make the case with the 49ers against the Chiefs. They had that as well, too, but it didn't matter because with the Chiefs, you still have Patrick Mahomes. You still have that culture with Andy Reid being the head coach, knowing how to win, and having so many different counters in situational football that they end up executing. And it's just hard to bet against the Chiefs. Honestly, if y'all watch my biggest takeaways from the divisional round, I picked the Bills to win. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was time for the Bills to win, but obviously not. The Chiefs still found the way to win then, and that's why I'm gonna predict that the Chiefs find another way to win another Super Bowl and be the first team in NFL history to 3-peat. I'm gonna predict the 27-24 with the Chiefs winning a really close game. We saw them play a close game 2 years ago when the Eagles lost to the Chiefs in Super Bowl 57. I think it'll have similar remnants of that. I don't think we should expect a blowout either way. That would be the most surprising thing ever in my opinion. I just think it's gonna come down to the wire and who makes the biggest plays and who doesn't mess up. We saw in that Super Bowl when they played in Super Bowl 57, Jalen Hurts had a fumble, and obviously they didn't decide most of the game because he played really good in that game. And that's one thing I want to talk about too. And I talked about that some when I was recapping the game between the Commanders. Jalen Hurts is a really good quarterback. He's not a quarterback that can't throw. Like, come on now. The thing has been Saquon Barkley has been so dominant this year. That's why he hasn't had to beat teams with his arm this year because the running game has been so potent. But make no mistake, Jalen Hurts is a really good quarterback. But that's a conversation for another day. He had a good game in that Super Bowl 57, but it really comes down to the turnover margin. Who doesn't mess up? And even in the turnover margin in the AFC Championship game, the Chiefs lost that, but still won the game. So it just comes down to a lot. But yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to win 27-24. I think the Eagles are going to fall short again, just like how the 49ers fell short in their rematch against the Chiefs. But I could be wrong. You could probably think that, oh, this is a Cowboys fan talking. He wants the Eagles to lose. Obviously I do, I'm not gonna lie. But just seriously though, like, it's hard to bet against the Chiefs though. Like I said, the Eagles have the better team, but it's hard to bet against 15. So yeah, guys, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments down below about who's gonna win the Super Bowl. Like I said, I think the Chiefs are gonna win, but that's just my opinion. If the Eagles win, I think a lot of America will be rejoicing, but like I said in the intro, a lot of people didn't want this matchup anyway, so we'll see. But yeah, guys, it sucks that football is almost over, man. It's a bittersweet time. Y'all know that basketball is my favorite sport though, so I'm gonna be ramping up on NBA content soon. Stay tuned for that. But yeah, let's just enjoy it while it's here. I know a lot of people don't like it, but we're not gonna have real meaningful NFL football until really 7 months and change from now. So let's enjoy it while it's here, guys. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. Always make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SwaggyRuss. All things of that nature on social media. We can talk, chat, or whatever, things of that nature. And like I said, more videos are on the way. Know that you are loved, you are blessed. God loves you. You are created here for a purpose, not by accident, and by a great intention. So y'all have a good one. Y'all be blessed and keep Jesus first. Yes, sir.